Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're going right into the cryptocurrency market, Bitcoin, and some altcoins that are looking pretty interesting right now. Our source is a Cointelegraph analysis.
Okay.
It's from December 2nd, 2024, right when Bitcoin was trying to hit that $100,000 mark.
Yeah. It's not just about the price, though. We're going to explore what this all means for the future of Bitcoin and the whole crypto world. For everyone listening, no matter where you are in your crypto journey.
All right, so let's start with this whole $100,000 Bitcoin thing. Every time Bitcoin gets close to that number, it feels like everyone in crypto just kind of stops breathing. This time it didn't quite get there, but we did see big names like MicroStrategy and MRA Holdings buying up more Bitcoin when the price dipped.
Right.
What do you think about that?
It definitely shows that buy the dip mentality you see with some of these institutional investors.
Mm.
They don't seem too worried about the little ups and downs, and they seem pretty confident that Bitcoin's going to be worth a lot more in the long run.
And historically, December's been a pretty good month for Bitcoin, especially during these halving years, the years when the rate of new Bitcoin being created gets cut in half. I gotta admit, I don't really get the connection there.
It is interesting, isn't it? Well, there are a few theories going around.
Yeah.
Some analysts think that halving events just make Bitcoin seem more scarce,
Right.
which makes people want it more. Others say it's because there's more media attention and people get that fear of missing out, that FOMO feeling
Right.
that tends to happen around these halving years. And some even think that people selling off Bitcoin in November for tax reasons could be leading to that December surge when they buy back in.
So it could be like a bunch of different things all happening at the same time around December in a halving year.
Hmm.
Interesting. And if history repeats itself, like 10x research says Bitcoin has gone up an average of 28% in December during those past halving years, things could get really exciting for people who own Bitcoin.
Definitely. And that reminds me of something Charles Edwards from Capriol Investments said. He said the real FOMO starts when Bitcoin goes above $100,000 and that we could see prices shoot up because of a supply squeeze. What are your thoughts on that?
It really makes you wonder, right? Once we break past that mental barrier, are we going to see a ton of new buyers jumping in? Or could it go the other way? Could people start cashing out and cause a correction?
Yeah, you never know. Crypto markets are famous for being unpredictable. It's impossible to say for sure what's going to happen with prices.
Okay, so Bitcoin's the big star, but the Cointelegraph analysis also looks at Ethereum, XRP, Solana, BNB, Dogecoin, Cardano, and Avalanche. What caught your eye about how they performed?
It's really interesting to see how these other coins are reacting to what Bitcoin's doing. Some are kind of following along while others are doing their own thing. It makes me think that the crypto market isn't just all about Bitcoin anymore.
So it's not like when Bitcoin goes up, everything goes up.
Not anymore.
No.
It seems like different parts of the crypto world are developing their own stories and attracting investors based on what makes them unique.
For example, XRP went up like crazy recently. It broke through a major resistance level. But then there's Solana, which dipped below its 20-day exponential moving average, the EMA. Can you explain what that means for people who might not know that term?
Sure. The 20-day EMA is like a moving average. It gives more importance to recent price data. It's something traders use to see how much momentum a coin has. When it drops below its 20-day EMA, it could be a sign that it's losing some of that upward push.
So could that be a warning for people who own Solana?
It's definitely something to watch closely.
And speaking of interesting signals, Dogecoin, the meme coin that never goes away, it forms something called an outside day candlestick pattern. I've heard that term, but I don't really know what it means.
Basically, an outside day candlestick pattern means the market can't decide what to do. The high and low for that day's trading went past the previous day's high and low, so you end up with a bigger range. It suggests that neither the buyers nor the sellers are in control at the moment.
So Dogecoin's keeping us guessing, as always. Now, Cardano seems to be waking up after being pretty quiet for a while. It finally broke above that $1.15 resistance level.
Yeah, that's definitely a good sign for Cardano. It seems like the buyers are getting stronger, and we might see it go even higher from here.
And then there's Avalanche. It's been climbing steadily, but it might run into some trouble at the $51 mark. You mentioned that the Relative Strength Index, or RSI, is showing some overbought signals. Can you break that down for us?
Sure, and think. The RSI is basically a way to measure momentum. It looks at how much the price has been changing lately to figure out if an asset is overbought or oversold. An asset is usually considered overbought when the RSI is above 70 and oversold when it's below 30. So in this case, it's saying that Avalanche's price might have gone up too fast and it could be time for a pullback.
So should people who own Avalanche be careful?
It's always smart to be aware of the risks, especially in a market like crypto. It's a good idea to know what your key support levels are and have a plan for when you'll sell.
You mentioned earlier how crypto is connected to the traditional markets. The Cointelegraph analysis says that the S&P 500 and the US dollar index could affect crypto prices. Why should we care about what's happening in those markets?
That's a great question. It's all about understanding the bigger picture and how everything's linked in the financial world. The S&P 500, for example, is like a snapshot of how the whole U.S. stock market is doing. When it's doing well, it usually means investors are feeling good, and they're more likely to invest in things that are seen as riskier, like cryptocurrencies.
So a strong S&P 500 could be good news for crypto. But wouldn't a strong S&P 500 also mean that investors have less reason to look for high-risk assets like crypto?
That's a good point. It just shows how complicated the relationship is between traditional markets and crypto. Sometimes they move together, sometimes they don't. It's about looking at everything that's going on and understanding how it all fits together.
And what about the US dollar index? How does that play into things?
Well, the US dollar index basically measures how strong the US dollar is compared to other big currencies. When the dollar weakens, it can make Bitcoin and other cryptos look more appealing to buyers in other countries, which could increase demand.
So a weaker dollar could be a good thing for crypto.
It's definitely something to keep in mind, but again, the connection between these markets is pretty complicated.
Okay, so we've got Bitcoin hanging out near a big psychological level, altcoins doing their own thing, and traditional markets maybe influencing how people are feeling. What stands out to you the most from all of this?
I think what's most interesting is how mature the crypto market is becoming. It's not just about what Bitcoin's price is doing anymore. There's all this amazing stuff happening with decentralized finance, NFTs, blockchain, gaming, the metaverse. All of these exciting developments are attracting investment and changing what's possible.
It's crazy how far crypto has come since it started. It's not just about speculation and digital gold anymore.
Exactly. We're seeing this incredibly powerful technology emerge that could change entire industries and give people more power than ever before.
That's what makes this space so exciting to follow. It's always changing and pushing the limits of what we can do. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're still in the early stages of this revolution, and there are definitely going to be challenges and things we don't know yet.
You're absolutely right. It's important to be realistic about this and recognize both the potential and the risks.
Let's get back to some of the specific altcoins we were talking about earlier. Solana, for example, is looking a little shaky after dropping below its 20-day EMA. What do you think about its future?
Solana has definitely been one of the hottest altcoins lately. Its super fast, low-cost blockchain has gotten a lot of attention and money. But this recent dip below the 20-day EMA, along with those overbought RSI signals we talked about, does make me wonder if it might weaken in the short term.
So what should people who own Solana be keeping an eye on?
I'd say that $210 support level is really important. If Solana drops below that, it could keep going down. But if you can stay above that level, it might mean that the bulls are still in control.
And what about XRP? It's been on an incredible run, breaking through that $1.97 resistance level. What do you think XRP will do next?
XRP's recent surge has been pretty amazing. Some analysts think it could keep going up and maybe even reach its all-time high again. But we should keep in mind that the RSI is showing overbought conditions for XRP too. That could mean we might see a correction soon.
So is this a chance to buy if it dips, or should people who bought earlier take their profits?
That's a decision each investor has to make based on how much risk they're comfortable with and their overall strategy. There's no right answer for everyone.
BNB, the token for the Binance exchange, seems to be having trouble breaking past $687. What do you think about how its price is moving?
BNB has been doing pretty well overall in the crypto market. It's kind of stuck right now between the bulls trying to push it above that $687 resistance level and the bears fighting to keep it down. The 20-day EMA, which is around $635 right now, is a key support level to watch. If BNB bounces off that level, you could try again to break through the resistance, but if it goes below that level, we might see a bigger correction.
So BNB is at a crossroads. Which way will it go?
It's like a tug of war. It's really hard to say for sure. In the end, the price will depend on whether there are more buyers or sellers in the market.
Okay, let's talk about Dogecoin. It always keeps things interesting.
Yeah.
You said earlier that it formed an outside day candlestick pattern, which means the market can't decide what to do. What do you think about Dogecoin given this pattern?
Dogecoin is kind of a special case in crypto. It started as a joke, but it's got a lot of dedicated fans and it's worth a lot of money. But its price can be really unpredictable. It's often driven by what's trending on social media and people just speculating. So this outside day candlestick pattern is telling us that the market isn't sure what to do with Dogecoin right now. That channel resistance line around 0 to 45 cents is the key level to watch. If Dogecoin breaks above that, it could mean the upward trend is continuing. But if it can't break through, It might just stay within that channel for a while.
So people who own Dogecoin might have to wait and see what happens?
It looks that way. We'll have to see which way the market sentiment goes.
Cardano seems to be gaining momentum after going above that $1.15 resistance level. What do you think it could do from here?
Cardano has a great development team and a really strong community. They've been steadily building up its infrastructure and expanding what it can do. Breaking above $1.15 is a good sign, and the bulls are probably aiming for $1.25. If it can get past that, we can see it rally even further towards $1.64.
So is this a good time for Cardano holders to be optimistic?
There are definitely some promising signs, but it's always important to be smart about risk and not get too excited about short-term price changes.
Okay, and lastly, let's talk about Avalanche. It's been steadily climbing, but it might hit a wall at $51. What do you think about Avalanche's chances?
Avalanche is another really exciting project in the crypto world. It's known for its speed and low fees. It's currently testing that 51.10 resistance level, and what happens next could be really important. If it can break above $51, it could keep going up towards $60 or even higher. But if it can't get through, we might see it drop back down to the $38 support level. Plus, like we said before, the RSI is showing overbought signals, which could mean a pullback is coming.
So Avalanche is at a turning point too. There's a lot of potential for it to go up, but there's also some risk that it could go down.
It really is. It just shows that even in a market like crypto where there's so much potential, there's always going to be some level of uncertainty.
Yeah, and that kind of brings us back to the Cointelegraph analysis, right?
Yeah.
It's showing us this really dynamic picture of the crypto market right now. Bitcoin's almost hitting a huge milestone. Altcoins are all over the place, and then you've got the traditional markets adding another layer of complexity.
It is pretty complex, and that's what makes it so interesting. It's not just one simple thing.
Yeah.
Each coin, each part of the crypto world has its own story.
So we're not just riding the Bitcoin wave anymore.
Definitely not. It's not just about digital currency now. Decentralized finance. DeFi is changing how we think about financial services completely. NFTs are changing the idea of digital ownership and transforming things like art and gaming. And then there's the metaverse. It's blending the real world and the digital world, creating these whole new experiences.
It's crazy to think about how far crypto has come, and it's not this niche thing anymore. It's becoming mainstream.
Exactly. It's becoming part of everyday life, and it's only going to get bigger in the years to come.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are the big takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
I think the most important thing is to be balanced and informed about the crypto market. Don't get caught up in all the hype, but don't ignore the potential either.
So be skeptical, but also be open-minded.
Exactly. Do your research, understand the technology and the people behind the projects, and know the risks.
Just like with any investment, knowledge is key.
Absolutely. Another important thing is to diversify your investments. Don't put all your money in one place. Spread it out across different assets, Bitcoin, altcoins, and maybe even different sectors within crypto.
So don't just chase the newest thing. Build a strong portfolio.
Right. And lastly, remember that this is a long game, not a quick win. The crypto market is still young, and there are going to be good times and bad times. Don't expect to get rich quickly. Be patient, stay informed, and be smart about managing your risk.
That's great advice. And with that, I think we've come to the end of our deep dive. It's been really cool exploring the latest happenings in the crypto world.
It really has. I hope our listeners feel like they understand this exciting and ever-changing world a little better now.
But before we go, I want to leave you with something to think about. We talked about how Bitcoin could reach new heights, how altcoins are all moving differently, and how traditional markets play a role. So thinking about all of that, where do you think the biggest opportunities for growth and innovation are in crypto in the next few weeks or months? What are you going to be paying attention to when you make your own investment decisions? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, happy investing.